22, he finished the play, as Bob would say. He had about 3.5 classes left, right? So he ended up taking about 3.5 classes. He worked with Dr. Taft, Dr. Ocker, Dr. Clark Ross, Dr. Gail Kaufman. He had one class with Dr. Taft. He had to finish a paper. He had another class with Dr. Ocker from Stanford and Dr. Clark Ross here from Davidson. And he did an independent study on the power of story. And then he had his thesis and research project that he did with Dr. Gail Kaufman in sociology. A lot of late night Zoom calls. I know because I organized them, right? He was doing calls on the road. He was meeting professors when he was in the hotel. He'd finished rehab, sweaty with a towel, doing the work. So we saw him do it after ice baths. Think about this, all on the back end of the NBA season and into the playoffs, and now en route to the Western Conference Finals MVP and fourth NBA championship and an NBA Finals MVP. He graduated. We could have taken a shortcut, right? Like, Stefan's done so much since he's left Davidson, right? We could have given him an honorary degree, right? He's done so much in the community. He's done so much from a social responsibility perspective. He's just a great ambassador for Davidson, but he did it the right way. And I want to thank a couple people, Dr. Taft, Dr. Ocker, Dr. Ross, Dr. Kaufman. I want to thank Angie Dewberry, our registrar, Brad Martin, Mark Johnson, and of course, the incomparable President Carol Quillen for helping make this happen. Back in 2019, we changed the qualifications for our Davidson Athletics Hall of Fame. Not because of Stephen or even Mike Malloy, for those of you who know, but because it was a little antiquated. We said that you had to have graduated in order to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Well, we sort of changed it and looked at what other schools did around the country and said, you know what, maybe you didn't have to graduated. You could just have left the school in good standing, let's say. Stephen definitely left the school in good standing. Mike Malloy left the school in good standing, right? So Stephen was unanimously inducted into the 2020 Hall of Fame class. However, he turned it down. He turned it down. He said, I want to do it the right way. I made a promise to my mother that I'm going to graduate, and I want to do it the right way. And that's why we're here today, because Stephen continues to do things the right way, and we're so very proud of him. He does what he does in an exceptionally unconventional manner, right? And so we're going to meet him where he is. So August 31st, 2022, we're going to celebrate Stephen Curry in 3 ways, because he likes threes, right? We're going to have a mini graduation ceremony for him where he gets his degree. We are going to induct him into the Hall of Fame. And we are going to not just retire his jersey, but he will be the first person to have his number retired at Davidson College. So we're going to host a public event in Belk Arena on McKillop Court. There are more details to come, but August 31st, 2022, and we look forward to celebrating Stephen at that time. And now to say a few words, I think you guys know who he is, Davidson men's basketball head coach, Bob McKillop.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you. Steph, the competitor, Steph, the performer, Steph, the teammate, doesn't compare to Steph, the human being. I don't believe there's a finer man in a leadership role, in a performance role, than Stephen Curry in our world today. We are so blessed and graced to have had his presence here, and we still have his fingertips and fingerprints all over us. We are very fortunate. A little bit of a humorous story about Steph and his degree. When he committed to play for the Warriors and signed his contract at the end of his junior year, he tried to begin the fulfillment of his promise to get his degree. So he took a summer course, an independent study course, with he and Brendan McKillop, with Dr. Shireen Campbell, who lived next door to me at that time. And I drive into my alleyway, and there's Steph and Brendan and Shireen sitting on their front porch going through their lessons. So I knew he was going to class. He goes out to San Francisco in July, and he gets questioned by, I guess it was a San Francisco Chronicle or Examiner reporter, what are you doing for the summer? He says, well, I'm taking a class. Oh, what class? English class. What are you reading? The Hardy Boys. Needless to say, one of our distinguished alums who is a graduate in the 50s calls President Tom Ross and says, what are you doing? You're taking care of these athletes, letting them take these easy courses, reading the Hardy Boys? Well, Dr. Shireen Campbell taught a course called Child Literature, and that happened to be one of the things they were analyzing and breaking down. But interestingly enough, he took a course that summer. He came back during the NBA lockout, and now some 12, 13, 14 years later, he finished his degree. What a statement about the commitment to excellence and the journey that he's on. Well, I'm sure you understand that Steph is part of this story, and the second part of the story is I'm stepping down as the basketball coach. And everything happens for a reason. Did you see Steph after the game last night? He was crying. Crying. Tears. I thought that was a message to me that it's okay to cry today. And I read once that tears are a gift from God. Tears show that your heart can be touched. And I think you know how my heart has been touched by Davidson. So I'll be stepping away. And you may ask, when did you decide this, Coach? Well, after each year, I analyze completely what we're doing. How can we do it better? I'm on a constant quest to get better. Constant. You know, there's the great Spielberg movie, Schindler's List. At the end, Schindler had freed so many of the Jews from captivity, and he's walking down the railroad tracks and said, I could have done more. I could have done more. That's the way I always feel. I could have done more, and I didn't. I could have done more. You might say, well, are you leaving because of the landscape of college basketball? Are you leaving because other guys have retired? Let me tell you. You can count on me to live our code of trust, commitment, and care, as well as I've tried to live it here during the past 33 years. Trusted to do your best, committed to do your best, caring about each other and showing it. It's been an absolutely extraordinary privilege for me to be the coach at Davidson College. I've come across people, I've come across friends, I've come across players, staff members, colleagues that have just given me such a great opportunity to grow as a human being. It's an extraordinary gift that you have all given to me, and I have much to be thankful for. It starts with family, and I'm lucky, incredibly lucky. 46 years, same lady. You know the song, the movie, Beaches? Did you ever know you were my hero? I don't know how I do it without her. And then, of course, our 3 children and their spouses, 6 Davidson alums, and our 5, soon-to-be 6 grandchildren, soon-to-be Davidson alums. Blessed beyond belief to have their support for what they did to keep me going. And then I look at our staff, present and past. And it starts with the window of our program, Susan Mercer. I've said this before, I simply don't know what we do without you. You wonder why Matt Matheny's back here. He's part of the foundation, our first captain, when we turn the corner. Jason Zimmerman back here. Our players here, past and present. I've been blessed beyond belief with the players and the coaches that have played here for us and coached with us. And then, of course, Davidson College. Davidson College has let me work through so many inadequacies. John Kirkendall took a gamble on me, a high school coach, and brought me here back in 1989. Terry Holland nurtured me and allowed me to develop and mentored me through the process of becoming a college coach. Jim Murphy gave me freedom. Then Tom Ross and Carol Quillen came in the backstretch, and they took us down a journey towards excellence we had never been on before. All of a sudden, we're in the Elite Eight, and all of a sudden, we're in the Atlantic 10, thanks to their leadership. The colleagues, the friendships, the alums, the Davidsonians, the fans that have been part of my experience here have left me with a treasure chest of memories. I've often referred to Davidson as Camelot. I wonder what the king is doing tonight. Well, I rephrased that and I said, I wonder what the coach is doing tonight. He's wishing he was in Scotland fishing tonight. The candles on the court, they never burned so bright. And that's true. This program is in a bright place right now. The current roster we have is exhilarated and energized and inspired to take another step in our journey forward. Camelot. That's a magic kingdom out there. Players, coaches, memories, treasures. I thank all of you for what you've done to me, what you've done for me. If I had to live my life over again as a coach, one simple thing. I would love more. Working hard is one thing. Giving your time, that's another thing. But loving, that's a tough thing. So, in my new role, whatever that might be, I will try to love more. Thank you.
There are not enough superlatives to describe Bob, so I tried to use sort of our values to do so. Consistency, excellence in what he did, the highest of standards, repetition. Accountability, he demanded it from his players, and I was one of them. Pay me now, pay me later. Pay the toll. Sloppiness is a disease. Help somebody, you help yourself. But he also demanded it from the coaches and staff and the fans. When your expectations were too low, he brought them higher. Accountability. Teamwork. There's no better ambassador of Davidson basketball, Davidson athletics, and Davidson College. None. He taught us that a hand is not as strong as a fist. Being together is what counts. And success. 33 seasons, 634 wins, 15 regular season championships. 8 conference championships, 10 NCAA tournament appearances, 17 20-plus win seasons, 7 25-plus win seasons, 11 Coach of the Year awards. So let's talk about athletics. Now, institutional values. Leadership, service. There's no better leader. There's no better servant. You talk about the honor code. There's no more integrity than in Coach McKillop. Disproportionate impact, the impact that he's had on players, coaches, fans. I want everybody to raise your hand in this room if Bob has impacted you at some point in the past 35 years, however small. Could have been a hello, all right? Could have been a meal, could have been a ticket to a game, but whatever it is, raise your hand if you, everybody. And at the very least, for those small to great impacts, and I know we just gave him one, I think he deserves another round of applause. I need to save some of these nice things I'm saying for later, for when we formally honor Bob in the very near future, and that time will come. Okay? We also knew at some point that this day would come, and I knew I had to be prepared. And the good thing is that Bob built a foundation and a family, a culture. He mentioned it before: trust, commitment, care. And only the best programs in the country have what we have: sustained excellence at the highest level. Bob has an incredible coaching tree. Jay-Z's here, Matheny's here. So many people have come through this program, players, coaches, former players, coaches who are doing amazing things in the basketball world. I knew that when the time came, there'd be so many incredible people that understand this culture and understand what it means to be able to continue it. But you quickly come to realize that there's only one logical choice. And it's not because he's Bob's son, but it's because he has the opportunity, as Bob just said, to make us better. To stand firm in this foundation and make it stronger. From scheduling to recruiting to scouting reports to film strategy, relationship building, community engagement, whatever it is, everything in between. If Bob was the captain, this man was unquestionably the first mate. He grew up with it. He lived it. He was a great player in his own right. Not as good as Stephen, right? But he did hit a ton of threes, right? He coached within the McKillop tree with Jay-Z. He turned down other head coaching opportunities to stay here. This is what he always wanted. And more importantly, has worked such incredibly hard for. He's been a huge part of this program's success for the past 14 years. Simply put, he's earned this. And make no mistake, we did our due diligence. We needed somebody to grasp the transfer portal, name, image, likeness, the Alston, the rapidly changing landscape of the NCAA. We needed somebody to come in and step in and blend the past with the present, but build upon a better future. There was a process, a formal process. Formally interviewed with Allison Mosey, an alum, the chair of the Board of Trustees. Formally interviewed with Ben Wall, an alum, trustee, and the chair of the Athletics Committee. Formally interviewed with President Carol Quillen. Formally interviewed with myself. We did our due diligence. And after that process, it only validated what we already knew. There is no better person primed to take Davidson basketball to the next level. Or again, as Bob just said it, make us better. And with that, I'd like to introduce my colleague, my teammate, my friend, and my brother, the 19th head coach of the Davidson men's basketball program. You're the captain now, Matt McKillop.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for our friendship, and thanks I'll do the same thing you guys did. Thanks not only for the opportunity to be the head coach here, but for your partnership, for your leadership of Davidson College since coming back in 2018, and the success that our team has had, but every team across Davidson Athletics has had, is thanks to the environment you've created within the athletic department. Thank you. Thank you, President Carol Quillen. Your support of athletics in our basketball program has allowed us to progress and sustain amazing levels of success. When I sat with Carol last week, she questioned whether or not when she would come to a game in the future, when she's no longer president, if she'd have the same passion at the games. And I laughed. I know for years she will be giving an earful to the referees when she comes to our games. Thank you to Allison Mosey, the president of the Board of Trustees, as Chris mentioned, and to Ben Wall, the chair of the Athletics Committee. We each have had the experience of being students at Davidson College and now alums. And we share the same love and passion for this institution, and I'm grateful to have spent time with you during this process. Obviously, there's a personal level of gratitude, but a collective gratitude to my father on behalf of all the players, the coaches, managers who have come through your program. You've developed players, but you've really developed people. You've acted as a role model and an example for how to play basketball, how to coach, how to be a father, how to be a husband. Thank you. But the opportunity for me to stand up here today is because of the consistent success that the basketball program led by Bob McKillop has had for the past 33 years. And I'm fortunate to have played for 4 of them and have been an assistant for the past 14. It's a result of the support that this program has received from our community, from our fans, from our alums. Many of you are here today and continue to show that support, and I ask that you continue to show that support. It's because of, among others, Jason Zimmerman, Jim Fox, Landry Kosmalski, Billy Tom, Will Toney, Brian Sullivan, Kevin Kuick, so many coaches who have helped me and helped Davidson compete at a championship level. That obviously also includes our current staff led by Susan, of Will Regal, Josh Haliger, Jack Gibbs, Matt Matheny, Justin King, and Brian Seitz. This is thanks to the special group of players who have put on a Davidson uniform as teammates of mine, and for the teams I've been blessed to coach. And several of those players are here today, and I'm grateful for you, and I'm grateful for your trust in myself and for our staff. We have a lot of work to do. We have a workout in about an hour, I think. But I'm thrilled to be your coach. This is an emotional day for our family. There's a unique sense of sadness because something that has been so wonderful to our family and our lives for 3 decades has come to an end. And Chris and Carol, I hope you know how much Kelsey and our girls appreciate your belief in me, because I know that our family and my mother and my sister and her family and my brother and his wife are thrilled that a day of finality can be bridged by something that, at the same time, can give us feelings of excitement and of joy. Today's a memorable day for Davidson basketball, and when you think of Davidson basketball, you think of Steph Curry, obviously, especially after last night. But Davidson basketball is synonymous with Bob McKillop. And to be named the head coach of Davidson College, to be named the head coach of the basketball team at Davidson College is an incredible opportunity, one of the greatest jobs in college basketball. But it's because of what he has done to transform this program and achieve what few ever imagined were possible. And while I hope we can look towards the future, I hope we can make today a celebration of everything that he has done for Davidson. Thank you.
So both Bob and Matt are going to sit over here, and we're going to administer questions for those who have it.
Bob, does this take effect immediately? I mean, you're not doing a Mike Krzyzewski retirement tour or anything?
You should know that Scott did an interview with me 3 weeks ago that's going to be aired in September.
We may have to update it, yeah.
And he asked the question about when I'm retiring, and there was a lot of present tense kind of situations that he asked about, and so I'm sorry that we spent that time. I could redo it if you'd like. I'm sorry, the question, Scott?
Well, just it takes effect immediately, and again, if you'd go a little bit more into sort of when and why you made the decision.
Okay, June 30th, it takes effect. It's not easy to walk away from something you love. And in 1994, we had a captain of our team who scored 1,000 points in his career, started for 3 years. He entered his senior year as the destined guard that's going to start for us because he started for 3 years and scored 1,000 points. But we happened to have a sophomore who was better in my judgment. I put the sophomore in the starting lineup and relegated that player to the bench. He became an even greater captain. That's the way I feel. That was Jason Zimmerman, and he was replaced by Jeff Anderson. So I'm taken out of the starting lineup, and I deserve to be. And I may not get into the rotation, but I guarantee you my heart will still be that of a great Davidson teammate.
And I wonder if I could ask you, Matt, too. I know you've dreamed of this probably for a long time. But it's got to be mixed emotions, I would think, for you and the family.
Yeah. I had a chance to speak with the players this morning after he told them that he was stepping down, and it was a very emotional moment because it was kind of the first time I'm saying it out loud, but for that reason exactly, what this program has meant to our family, and it has been our family for such a long time, and there's great excitement, and I know our family is so appreciative of the opportunity that we have to continue to be a part of this program, but Bob McKillop no longer being the head coach of Davidson, which for the last 33 years has been what our lives have revolved around, it's as you said, bittersweet.
What do you think your first Davidson team will be like? Will it be very similar to what your dad instilled?
I believe so. I'm sure there will be differences. I'm sure my coaching presence will be different. I'm sure my teaching style will be different. But we've had success for a reason. And whether it's the credo of trust, commitment, care, whether it's the objectives that are listed on the wall in our practice facility that we see every day that we try to keep in mind to live in the present, those things will all stay the same.
Scott, as a follow-up to that, one of the interesting dynamics that occurred during the last 5 years was Matt's performance on the bench. He was a pain in the butt. He was constantly offering suggestions, challenging decisions, and giving me advice. And that takes courage. And but it was a defining aspect of his future for me, that he had that willingness, that confidence, that courage to do that. He's not going to be an imitation of me. I'm a believer in gut. He believes in analytics. I like that Ralph Kiner saying that statistics are like bikinis. They show a lot, but they don't show everything. So I think he'll be his own man, and I'm very proud that that will happen. I think that's the way he'll succeed, by being his own man instead of being an imitation.
Will you will you be in the gym, literal McKillop court, for every home game?
I really have not crossed that bridge. I'm going to speak with my counselor, Chris Clooney, and ask him what his advice will be, because he's just given me such tremendous advice throughout his tenure with us. And I'm sure I'll talk with Matt about that and feel what he's comfortable with. I might sneak in, look a cranny here, and just peek in here and there.
On a light note, are you going to dye your hair like your dad?
I think my hair is moving in that direction, unfortunately.
Hey, Coach. I was at your camp in 2016, so I want to say thank you for all you did by igniting or furthering a flame that each of us had in our passion for the sport of basketball. My question is that when in your career did it click for you that you wanted Davidson to be your home for so many more years?
I'm sorry.
I just said, when in your career did it like really click in your head that you wanted Davidson to be your home for so long?
I've been asked that question a lot because of how long I've been here. And I said the three things that make my decisions firm are my faith in God, my family, and Davidson College. And the faith in God is an ever-evolving process and one that I try to grow stronger in each day. The family is always a consistent part of my life. Davidson College is ever-changing. And in the process of change, all of a sudden, that roster in the first year, in the second year, in the third year, in the fourth year, now it's a roster of 10 or 15 years. That's 10 or 15 years of sons. Pretty tough to leave family. So family and Davidson became synonymous. And, the grass might be greener elsewhere, but there's crabgrass everywhere.
Coach, this might be a difficult question for you to answer after all these years, but could you put into words just what all these years at Davidson College have meant to you?
Yeah. I've become a better person. I'm still in that quest to be the best I can become, but I've been put on a road and taken a journey that has led me down a path that I'm very much at peace. And I'm very much at peace because of the influence of the people who've impacted my life. And that's players, that's coaches, that's colleagues, that's professors, that's administrators, that's townspeople, that's Davidsonian people, that's alums, that's fans. I don't know that there are many people who have had such a privilege. And as I said before, there's been a lot of inadequacies in my life. Mea culpa, mea culpa, mea maxima culpa. I got a lot of things I've done wrong. Davidson has allowed me to live through those mistakes and continue down the journey of success.
Coach McKillop, I want to thank you for everything that you've done for Davidson. There were many, many times you probably could have left, and you had a lot of people wanting you because of your talent, and you stuck with us. And that was the biggest thing, I think, in all of our lives, that you stayed with us and that we could come to this point here today to celebrate you and also to celebrate Matt. I refereed a lot of practices and some scrimmage games for Coach, and you could not be a finer coach. Matt's a great, great person. Not that he's going to be a great coach, but he's a good person like his father. So he will be a great coach, I promise you. He will. But I want to know what role and what made you make a decision to bring a very talented person back to the team and to the family, Matt Matheny.
Matt Matheny's like a younger brother. And very rarely do you have someone that played for you be looked upon as a younger brother. It's usually a son. In 1992-93, we had a record of 14-14. The reason we had that record was because Matt joined the team as a non-scholarship player, and I roomed him with Detlef Musch from Fulda, Germany. And Matt was a football player, and in his rooming with Detlef Musch, I was trying to get the football toughness rubbed off onto Detlef, a 6'10", 6'11" guy, and sure enough, it did. And that was a pivotal part of the turnaround of our program, going 14-14 that year and then winning 22 games the next year. And Matt's leadership capacity at that time became very paramount in my thinking, and that's why I brought him on as an assistant coach. And as we went through those next 14 or 15 years when he was on our staff, I started calling him the architect because of how well he planned things. And we're playing Georgetown and Raleigh-Durham in 2008 run, and we're down 15 points, I think, at halftime. And Matt offers in our conversation in the halftime huddle, let's go back to this particular defense, which was kind of out of the ordinary for the team that Georgetown had. And we decided to go for it and run that defense. And sure enough, that turned the tide. And so is that enough reasons to say why I brought him back here?
Anybody else?
Guys, I've had the honor and joy to both coach with you as colleagues and become close friends and family overlap. And I want to commend Chris and Carol and all those for making this incredibly important and bold decision and doing the right thing. I think so many people in this room were hoping it was going to happen. Couldn't happen to a better family and a better staff and a better alumni base. My comment is just many of you in this room have probably been influenced by Bob in so many ways. And one way that I was influenced by him was handwritten notes that he would send me, sometimes when I was down, sometimes when I was up. And I know that Matt shares that ability to connect as well, but I also believe that he'll do it in his own way. So just as Carol stepping down at alumni function in Charlotte with her speech this week, we're losing an icon, but we're in great hands with Matt McKillop. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
As Matt Spears said, Matt will do it in his own way. And Matt had the grave misfortune of not being taught by the nuns in grammar school, so his penmanship can't come close to mine.
We could make this a good back and forth, but you should see his text messages.
See what I mean?
Anybody else?
First of all, I want to say congratulations to Matt McKillop. Can't think of a more worthy candidate to continue the tradition of Davidson basketball than you. We're all super excited for you, and good luck.
Thank you, Jake.
I don't have a question. I just wanted to use this opportunity to thank Coach McKillop. I've only made a few really good decisions in my life, and one of them was coming to play for Coach McKillop in Davidson College. I remember he was sitting on my back porch, and I was getting recruited by some big-time programs at that point, and you know, they're all telling you, oh, yeah, you're going to be great. You know, you're going to get a chance to play right away. You're going to be awesome. Coach said, I'm going to kick your butt, Jake. I'm going to kick your butt. I'm going to make, and yeah, that really resonated with me, and that was it, and that was what I needed. You know, I'm going into my 10th year as a professional this year, and that's something to be said to Coach making me a better player, but I'm a father now. And I'm a better man for having played for you. So I want to take the opportunity for the other alumni here to thank you from everyone, because what you've done has been really special for us, and we love you.
One of the greatest joys I have is the composite, the makeup of our team over the years. Jake, a city guy from Philadelphia, but an Israeli citizen right now, of Jewish heritage and of the Jewish faith, and marries a Davidson girl and moves back here to Davidson. But whether it's European, whether it's African, whether it's African American, whether it's Charlottean, whether it's Californian, whether it's New Yorker, whatever the religion, whatever the race, whatever the nationality, we play together as a team. What a great lesson for our country. I wish that story would get out there.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out this afternoon. Thank you to Stephen. More information to come soon, but more importantly at this moment, nothing but gratitude and thanks to Coach Bob McKillop, and congratulations, Matt. And as always, it's an incredibly great day to be a Wildcat. Thank you.